The National Prosecuting Authority says ending impunity and holding those responsible for state capture-related wrongdoing to account is vital to restoring the rule of law. The crime-fighting body is reacting to last night's announcement by President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa on the State Capture Commission's recommendations. The president announced several measures designed to prevent a recurrence of state capture, and the NPA says the proposed steps are crucial to its mandate. Let's discuss this further now with the spokesperson for the NPA, Advocate Mthunzi Mhaga. Advocate, good afternoon. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Welcome to today. So overall, I've seen your statement. I haven't been able to read it thoroughly, but you are welcoming the President's response to the Zondo reports, particularly regarding to your work as the NPA. What about what the President said last night that you as the NPA are pleased about?
Good afternoon, Braden. Important aspect of the report relates to the establishment of the Investigating Directorate as a permanent entity in the NPA, and also the independence of the NPA occupied the better part of the report. But on the permanence of the ID, you'll recall that it is set up in terms of Section 7 of the NPA Act as a temporal entity within the Office of the National Director of Public Prosecutions. But now, if legislative changes are made, it's going to ensure that it remains a permanent feature in the NPA. We will then be able to bolster our efforts of fighting corruption and state-related offenses. This will also ensure that we recruit a permanent, specialized skill, the expertise that we need in order to prosecute efficiently and successfully corruption and state capture-related offenses. It will also ensure that our prosecution-guided investigative model is resuscitated and ensure that we successfully prosecute these crimes. Obviously, as you indicated in your opening remarks, impunity will no longer be a given, and those most responsible for state capture-related offenses will be brought to book. There will be nowhere to hide. We will stop at nothing ensuring that we hold them accountable. The other aspect of the report
so
that
before,
we find
Advocate, before you move on to the next aspect, just on this first one, for you to be able to implement some of the changes that require that specialized expertise, you will need some changes to the law or some legislative changes, and that might take some time.
We will ensure that we work closely with the Legislative Development Department within the National Prosecuting Authority. But in the meantime, we have written to the Minister to ensure that the current investigators within the ID have expanded powers that will ensure that at least they've got the powers in terms of the Criminal Procedure Act. But that is a temporal measure, but in the long run, we're looking at legislative change in terms of the Criminal Procedure Act, in terms of the National Prosecuting Authority Act being amended itself.
Okay, so the second part you are moving to is a part that in your statement you refer to as having been revealed during the Commission's hearings that the NPA's independence was seriously compromised.
Of importance is the fact that we want to insulate a national director and the prosecuting authority from any possible interference, whether politically or externally or through business. What is important, therefore, is what the president had said, to say they are looking into legislative change to ensure that there's independence of the NPA through the appointment of a national director through a process that would have been preceded by an independent, competent, transparent process, as was the case with the current National Director, Advocate Shamila Patoi. We welcome that announcement, and we hope that it will go a long way in ensuring that we are an independent institution that can never be influenced otherwise by any, either is it political or external or business.
Yeah, the another issue which I've asked before to other role players when it comes to the NPA is your independence when it comes to budgetary issues, your financial and administrative independence. What's the view of the NPA post what the president has said about the future regarding such matters?
We find joy in the statement by the president that the issue that needs to be settled and clarified is the issue of financial independence of the NPA, because currently we are a program of the Department of Justice and the accounting officer is the Director General. We would want to see a situation where we are independent of that so that the independence can be a fully fledged one, and the functioning and the independence of the NPA has a bearing on the efficiency of the prosecuting component of the criminal justice system. So we welcome that announcement by the president, and we hope that all these announcements that have been made could be expedited so that within no time we have a fully functioning NPA which is fit for purpose.
Now, you said you're not going to do this alone as an NPA. In your statement, you said you have to work together with other partners in society. Why?
It's important for you to understand that we have stakeholders in the NPA. We've got private sector that has come on board to say we can assist in kind because corruption threatens the economic stability of the country. We just signed an MOU with Business Leadership South Africa, who have offered to assist us in recruiting skilled and specialized expertise in order to bolster our efforts of fighting complex crimes and corruption and state-related offenses. So we can't do this alone. Civil society, other law enforcement agencies, other partners in the criminal justice system, the private sector, business partnership that we've engaged in, it's going to play a very critical role in ensuring that at the end of the day, we win the war against corruption and state-related offenses, or state capture rather.
Yeah, finally, Advocate, before I let you go, you also touched in your statement this afternoon on the protection of whistleblowers. I mean, we know how important that is, including some whistleblower organizations. I understand this afternoon, they've also issued their own statements welcoming what the president said. Why did you, as the NPA, feel it was important in this statement in welcoming or responding to what the president said last night? You should also touch on the importance of reviewing the legislations that have got to do the protection of whistleblowers.
Currently, there is no legislation that protects whistleblowers insofar as the NPA having to accommodate them. We only deal with witnesses or those whistleblowers that are also witnesses for the state, then we accommodate them. So if an announcement is to the effect that there will be legislative change to ensure that they are protected, that is good news to us, because every state witness, every whistleblower that gives information to the state, it helps in building a formidable case that law enforcement can present to us and lead to a securing of a conviction, so that the bolstered efforts of fighting corruption are not compromised.
Thank you very much, Advocate Mthunzi Mhaga, for your time. He's speaking on behalf, of course, of the NPA, just telling us and sharing a little bit more with us about the reaction of the NPA to what the president had to announce last night in terms of what government's response is to the state capture commissions. I understand there's a